Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth Finch and I'm here today to share some of my favorite kitchen tools for cooking foods at home more. And I really want to point out that whatever your health goals are, if it's weight loss or other goals, it's crucial to address your diet. You really do have to make changes to your diet in order to reach those goals. So cooking at home is a great way to learn to eat cleaner. It helps you to avoid processed foods and limit those processed foods in the diet. You know exactly what's going into your food because you've prepared it at home and maybe taken it with you for lunch the next day or other meals. So again, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite tools to simplify and make cooking at home more convenient for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is just a plain sheet pan. And I love this sheet pan. It's not even a particular brand. It's one that I picked up at the store. But make sure that it's got a lip around it. And I use this for roasting vegetables. And in my opinion, roasted vegetables taste great. Everybody loves a good roasted vegetable. And it's also super simple. You just pop it in the oven, kind of keep an eye on it. I roast every vegetable on my sheet pan. I do everything from asparagus and broccoli and cauliflower, zucchini, onions, peppers. I do sweet potatoes. I do winter squashes, carrots, you name it. You can roast it on the sheet pan. All you need is your vegetable chopped up into kind of uniform sized pieces, a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil, some sea salt, and you're just going to pop that sheet pan with your vegetable on it in a 400-degree oven for about 15 or 20 minutes, depending on the vegetable. Some vegetables take longer to roast, but just keep an eye on it. Be sure you kind of peek in on it maybe once every 8 or so minutes. Toss it with a wooden spoon just to make sure that it's roasting evenly. But you can do that while your kids are doing homework or while you're unloading the dishwasher. It's a super easy way to cook vegetables, and again, just a really great tasting way to cook them. You can also use your sheet pan to roast fish or cook chicken in the oven. I would probably put some foil on it first before doing meats just to make sure that it's not going to stick. But super easy way to cook dinner and do other things while you've got that going in your oven. My second favorite tool is, and these are in no particular order, these are just 6 of my favorites, is a good, sharp, heavy chef's knife. This is so important. Actually, if I were going to say you need to make one investment for your kitchen, I would say a heavy, sharp chef's knife. Again, I don't have a favorite brand, just invest in a good one. I promise you it's worth it. And the reason that it is because the weight of the knife and the sharpness of the blade will actually do a lot of the work for you when you're chopping your vegetables. This knife, this chef's knife, just a basic chef's knife, is going to do probably 90% of the tasks that you have in your kitchen for you. So again, it's important to invest in a good one. Nobody likes to chop vegetables with a dull, flimsy knife. It makes the work harder. It's no fun. So again, invest in a good chef's knife. So the next thing I'd like to tell you about is a good, heavy pot. My pot with a lid, it's cast iron. I really, really love it. Just, the size is the important thing, making sure it's a good sized pot with the lid that fits. And you can use this from everything from soups and stews and chilies. I'm a huge fan of homemade soups and stews for weeknight meals because they're so easy, and you can do those in this pot. But also you can braise meat and vegetables. You can do one pot meal, so with your vegetable, maybe some chicken and a grain. You can cook whole grains in it, so maybe a pot of quinoa, a pot of brown rice or oats. You could do a big pot of beans, which is a super easy meal to just toss in. So many things. It's very versatile and really can be used for a lot of different dishes. Again, just make sure you've got that lid that fits. You're going to want that in case you want to do any steaming in the pot. It's nice to have that lid that fits. And also, if you've cooked something a little bit, before the mealtime, you can put the lid on and just kind of let it sit and stay warm on your stove. So again, just a good heavy pot, a pretty good size with a lid that fits. So the next thing I want to talk about is a high-speed blender. High-speed blenders you can do so much with them. This is a Vitamix. I don't necessarily just recommend Vitamix, but just make sure it's a good, powerful blender. If you're going to be investing some money in it anyways, you want to make sure that it's going to do its job. But I use my blender obviously for smoothies, green smoothies, different fruit and vegetable smoothies with, nuts, different things like that. I love to make chia seed pudding in it. You can make homemade sauces, homemade salad dressings. You can do homemade ice cream, healthier ice cream with a frozen banana and maybe some almond milk and a little bit of honey or stevia. You can also do a fresh fruit sorbet that way, just with frozen berries, and again, just a little liquid, maybe some water. So there's so many things you can do with a high-speed blender. You can puree your soups in it, which brings me to my next kitchen tool. I'm a huge fan of, again, of soups for weeknight meals because I think that they're really, really good for you and nourishing and comforting. You get a lot of water, which is hydrating. But sometimes if you want to puree your soup, it's kind of cumbersome to move the soup from the pot into the high-speed blender, back into the pot. Kind of gets to be a hassle, and then people don't tend to do it if it's not convenient. So I really love my immersion blender. I would recommend this too, maybe if you don't have room in your kitchen for a large high-speed blender. You might just go with a good immersion blender. But once you've sauteed your vegetables, or maybe let your vegetables cook in some broth in your large pot, then you just take your immersion blender and you can puree it all, and you can do it as to the consistency that you like. So if you want a thinner soup, you can keep going. If you want something chunkier, you can always leave some chunks in your soup. I absolutely love my immersion blender. You can also do a lot with your immersion blender that you can do in a high-speed blender. Obviously not the same quantities, but a lot of the same functions. You can make smoothies in cups with it. You can, you can make, again, those salad dressings, sauces, maybe even some ice cream. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your immersion blender. Again, I highly recommend it. I have both, but if you have to choose between the two, I think I might go immersion blender. Again, it's so great for pureeing those soups in the pot. And then my final tip, so I think you guys, if I haven't mentioned already, I'm a huge fan of cooking once and eating 2 or 3 times. So if I'm roasting a pan of vegetables, I do extra. I buy extra at the store and roast extra so that I'll have them to eat on for other healthy meals throughout the week, maybe lunches. If I'm making soup, I make a large pot so that I purposely have leftovers. And then I store my leftovers in glass containers. There's a lot of evidence that plastic containers the chemicals can leach into our food. So I'm just really a fan of the glass containers. There's a lot of really easy ones that have snap-on lids like these. You can use mason jars to store any soups or other liquids. That's a great inexpensive glass container. But again, just get into the habit of cooking more than you need, and then using that leftover food, maybe the leftover vegetables or meat or soups, for healthy meals later in the week. It'll make it so much more convenient on you if you cook one night and then you don't have to cook again for another night or two. It just kind of cuts down on the amount of cooking that you actually have to do. So get into that habit, cook more than you need, and eat 2 or 3 times. And again, these are just some of my favorite tools to simplify your cooking at home experience. I would love to see you guys all start to cook more of your own meals and prepare more of your own meals at home. I promise it's so much healthier for you, and you're really going to reap the benefits if you get into this habit. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys soon.